All right, we'll go ahead and continue with Washington head coach Lorenzo Romar and senior forward Malik. We'll go ahead and have Coach make a few opening remarks, and then we'll take questions for the coach and student athlete.
Well, we're excited about our season starting, like I'm sure everyone else is. We had a great time this summer going to Australia and New Zealand, playing 5 ball games, and it helped some of our younger kids get acclimated to what we were trying to do, and it allowed everybody to play together. We were allowed to merge the two, the returners as well as the new kids. So we kind of knew what we had coming into the season, and I believe that more than any other year in recent memory for me, we have much more of an idea in terms of our depth and where we're headed earlier in the year as a result. And that's kind of where we are.
Go ahead and take questions. Down here in the front row in the middle.
Good morning, Lorenzo.
Good morning.
Good morning. With all the three-pointers shot last season in the college game, I think 30, it was a high percentage. But is there a Stephen Curry factor here? Why so many more three-pointers? And one follow-up to that, the rule changes in recent years to increase scoring and make the game a little more exciting. What's your take on that as well?
Well, it's my understanding that points were up 6 points per game nationally. So something changed in that regard. I don't know if it's necessarily the Steph Curry effect. When you watch the Warriors play, maybe the Warriors effect. He's not the only one, But I don't know if that's the case. This is not what you want to hear, but where I really noticed it was our summer camp this year with the little kids. All of them are trying to mix each other and shoot from 30. They can barely get it up there, but that's how they're all playing. I hope that's not a trend coming up by the time they get to our level. It's probably how you did it, Casey, when you were younger.
Second row in the middle.
Malik, last year you celebrated Ramadan, and you lost quite a bit of weight. How did you deal with that this year?
This year, being home the first couple of weeks helped me a lot because I actually had time to sleep in and eat more. So by the time I got back, I only had 18 days to go, I think. So it wasn't really that bad. I didn't lose as much. That was the big difference.
On the left here, second row.
Lorenzo, you look around the country, a lot of teams putting a lot of responsibility on freshmen. Are you guys prepared to do that with Markel, and what kind of impact do you think he can have for your program?
Well, we got a little experience from it last year, and that we had quite a few freshmen out there on the floor. But I think there are freshmen, all freshmen have to learn. They have to make the adjustment to the level of intensity, the level of concentration that it takes on every play. It takes some a little longer than others. I think Markel is a little unique in that he is farther along in terms of just his overall basketball IQ and his talent ability. So I think he's ahead of the curve a little bit. And as I mentioned earlier, us being on the trip on the foreign tour this summer helped. I think it helped him and it helped our group learn to play with him quicker than it would have if he wouldn't have been there. So I think he'll be fine. I think he'll definitely impact our team in a positive way. I think he's ready to do that.
Third row in the middle.
Ben Parker from GoldenBearReport.com. This is a question for both of you. Just what was the biggest benefit of playing overseas in Australia? Just how much did that help your team develop and grow, and what's the biggest sort of takeaway from that experience, both like on the court and also from a cultural experience?
I think that firstly, playing overseas is a different type of game. Maybe the speed in the U.S. is a little bit faster, but out there it's more physical because most of the people are already some grown people. So, and I think it was good for us to know where we're at because we have 3 new players, and we could test ourselves from the last season. and we seen that we grew up a lot and we play more together right now. So it was an amazing experience.
Second row in the middle.
Coach, there was a game last year where it was late in the game, crunch time, Huskies were on defense, and Andrew Andrews physically moved one of your players who was out of defensive position into proper defensive position for an inbounds play. With his presence now no longer with the program, how does your job change losing that guy off the court and on the court as well?
Andrews not being with us is definitely a significant loss. He was in our program for 5 years. He knew our philosophy. He knew what we were trying to do inside and out, but more than anyone else. But hopefully, when you run a program, you run it so that you can maintain some type of consistency in that regard. And, you know, Malik right here is our team captain this year. And although he had only spent 1 year with us because he was a junior college transfer, our guys really, really respect Malik and look up to him. But the thing with Malik is with Andrew last year, there were a bunch of new players that he had to lead. Malik has guys that are a little more experienced this year. So you can just watch our practices and see it's not just Malik that's able to help our guys, but some other guys you can see are teaching on the side. You know, a guy may make a mistake and he's on the side, and another guy's over there trying to teach him and tell him what he could do better. So I think collectively we have more experience to be able to lead, led by, like I mentioned, Malik Dime here.
Down here, front row on the left.
Your women's team did really well last season. Is that motivation? Do they razz you at all or try to help you get ready to go for this season? I mean, is it an incentive, or Malik, what do you think?
I mean, I would say yes, but then again, we all got together when everybody got on campus in June, and we talked about what we really need to do to get where we need to be, and everybody is really willing to put whatever it takes to get to that point. So I think that we all just want it. So we're working hard right now, and we're just going to be ready.
For me, it was more exciting. You know, we were pulling for them. It was great. It was a great story, great year for them.
We'll go ahead and take one more question. Far left, second row.
Lorenzo, Steve Mims from the Register Guard over here. How do you adjust in terms of recruiting when, you know, you've got two guys last year that are then gone after 1 year, and it leaves you with, I don't think you have like even a fourth-year senior this year. How do you kind of going forward match in terms of kind of getting guys that they're the top talent, but also maybe wanting to have some guys that you feel like can be around and be veterans down the road?
People have asked, I mean, all coaches get asked the question quite a bit. Are you for or against one and dones? And I think I just don't know who's going to, not many, certainly not Washington is going to see someone that has a one and done level talent and say, nah, I don't think so. You're only going to be here a year. I don't think that's going to happen. But the key, I believe, is when you have that mixed with veterans. I think if you have several one and dones, I know Kentucky's been successful doing it, but even those Kentucky teams had other older kids that may not have been the feature guys, but behind the scenes, they were leading the way. I think if you have veterans around the one and dones, I think it can be very, very beneficial. But for us, we're not making any adjustments in that regard. I think last year, Marquise Chris and DeJounte Murray, who were both first-round picks after a year, were the first ones that we've had that going into the season, we didn't know they were going to be one and done. Before, you kind of know that they're probably going to be in college a year. We thought it would be a little longer with those guys, so we made the adjustment in terms of recruiting a couple of years ago, that you're not going to turn down very many kids that are talented. You're not going to wait around. You just keep taking them. And now college basketball seems to be, although we as a group are trying to cut this down, it's moving toward free agency. So with 800 kids transferring at the end of the year, and then you have the NBA draft, and you have kids that can be eligible immediately upon transfer after 4 years, you have to be prepared for it. So you have to make sure that your roster's filled out year in and year out.
Great. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time.
Thank you all.